All right, let's now bring in Evan Bernstein. He's the New York Regional Director for the Anti-Defamation League. Evan, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
It's a very serious matter. More than 100 bomb threats recently against Jewish organizations across the country. So serious that President Trump addressed it in his joint address to Congress last night. And he mentioned it right at the top of his speech. Let's take a listen.
Sure.
Recent threats targeting Jewish community centers and vandalism of Jewish cemeteries, as well as last week's shooting in Kansas City, remind us that while we may be a nation divided on policies, we are a country that stands united in condemning hate and evil in all of its very ugly forms.
Evan, the president tackled this, I think, in the first 30 seconds of his speech.
Yes.
What's your reaction?
Listen, we're pleased when the president speaks about such a core issue to the Jewish community, and he did so just a week earlier, and we praised him for that. I think now, though, it's important that there's a plan of action. I think words are very important, and speaking out about these kind of things are critical, but I think it's all about what the next steps are and trying to solve this problem, because it's become a real epidemic across the country, and we need to see some real steps.
The ADL has gotten some of these calls. What have the calls been like? And you talk about future steps. What are these steps?
So I think, yes, our New York office and our headquarters were targeted last Wednesday. This past Monday night, our office in San Francisco was targeted. So we definitely are standing with our fellow institutions and understanding what it's like to get these threats. I think what needs to happen is there needs to be real plans of attack that are going to happen with law enforcement, especially around the FBI. There needs to be real resources. I think the president needs to be able to bring together coalitions and use the power of his seat to really push things together and get the ball moving faster, so there's some outcomes here. The community is waiting for answers.
Do you see the administration doing that?
We haven't, we've seen a lot of language, condemning it now from the president. We have not seen a real distinct plan. You showed Governor Cuomo earlier who has done that. Governor Cuomo has spoken out. He has a plan, and he's put resources behind that plan. So I think that's really the ideal model for electeds.
Do you think it requires federal resources, though?
I think it's getting to that point. If right now the resources that are in play are not enough to solve this problem, then clearly there needs to be, I think, more resources put towards it.
What do you think is driving this? I mean, what is your understanding, or if you had to guess as to who's behind it and why, what would that be?
Right now, clearly it's a guess on the front of the bomb threats. I think what we have seen since the election, even before the election, during the election season, really has been a tremendous uptick in anti-Semitic incidents around the country, but also just overall hate. Our office has seen over 100% increase in calls, not only around anti-Semitism, but other forms of hate towards other minority groups. And it's something that's really been unprecedented for us, and it's something that we're very, very concerned about.
But do you think this is the overall coarsening of our culture, the availability of burner phones, and you can say anything you want on social media about blacks, about Jewish people against Muslims, or is there something more specific that's driving this? I
think it's probably a combination of two things. I think number one, I think a lot of these feelings are always part of society, and I think there was almost like a coffee can and the cap came off, and now I think the election somehow did that for whatever reason. And I think another part of it is, we were very much a part of the demasking laws of the Ku Klux Klan. And now with social media, these same kind of people that were afraid to show their faces after that law was implemented can now really hide themselves on social media in a way that it's been unprecedented. The amount of trolls that I have, our CEO Jonathan Greenblatt, other leaders, and other things are happening on other social media sites is just unprecedented.
Well, to your point, social media, and to David's point, disposable burner phones does allow people to be anonymous. You've listened to some of these phone calls. What are the common denominators, any common themes or threads that we're hearing in these phone calls?
The biggest theme has been that it's been a real technology behind this, which is concerning. There have been mostly robocalls. A lot of them look like they come from inside the building, so it's almost like a horror movie kind of effect to it. And clearly it's not, it doesn't seem like right now that it's just random kids making these kind of phone calls. There's a real effort going on here and technology that's behind it. And I think that's really concerning, and that's why we need to get answers.
What are some of the words being used? What is the language?
There's a bomb in your building, that you're going to kill you all. I mean, those are the themes on almost every one of the calls.
Do you think any of this is copycat oriented and that people see the press attention and think, oh, I could do this?
I hope it's not. I don't want to speculate because we know it's an ongoing investigation, and the law enforcement, especially here in New York, NYPD and state police are doing everything they possibly can to help with the FBI.
All right, Evan Bernstein, he's the New York Regional Director for the Anti-Defamation League. Evan, thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.